Today I am going to present the influence line diagram for moving train of concentrated loads across the simply supported beam and how to determine the maximum shear force and maximum bending moment at a specified section. When a train of concentrated loads travel across a simply supported beam from left to right, so here we will determine the shear force, the maximum shear force at C, maximum bending moment at C, and absolute maximum shear force in the beam, and absolute maximum bending moment in the beam. Let a train of concentrated loads travels across the beam from left end to right end. So these are the number of concentrated loads or train of concentrated loads. So when the train of concentrated load is moving from support A to support B, then how we will determine the maximum shear force and bending moment at a section C? You have to determine the maximum position of the load for maximum shear force and bending moment at section C, and you have to find out the maximum shear force and bending moment. So these are the load W1, W2, W3, W4, W5. So here there are 5 concentrated load moving from support A to support B. So we have to find out the maximum shear force and bending moment at a given section C. So here we will determine the maximum shear force and bending moment at the specified section C. In the influence line diagram for shear force at C, it is clear that the maximum negative shear force occurs when the most of the loads are to the left of the section. And maximum positive shear force occurs when most of the loads are to the right of the section. So in the influence line diagram, so you know for simply supported beam, so how to draw the influence line diagram for shear force. This is the influence line diagram for shear force for simply supported beam. This is the section C. So this is right side of the section, this is left side of the section. So when the train of concentrated loads is present just to the left of the section, so here you will get the maximum negative shear force. Or when the train of concentrated load is present just to the right of the section, so you will get the maximum positive shear force. This is the section C. So left of the section you will get the maximum negative shear force, and right of the section C you will get the maximum positive shear force. Then in the influence line diagram for bending moment at C, it is clear that the maximum bending moment will develop at C when the load is partly to the left of the section and partly to the right of the section. This one. So this is the train of concentrated loads, and here some part is toward the right side of the section and some part is toward the left side of the section. So in this situation we will get the maximum bending moment. Coming to the maximum negative shear force at C. So this is the train of concentrated load, and this is the position of load for maximum negative shear force at C. This is the influence line diagram for shear force at C, and you know maximum negative shear force is Z by L and maximum positive shear force is L minus Z by L. Already you know in the simply supported beam. This is maximum positive shear force and this is maximum negative shear force. And these are the train of concentrated load or number of concentrated load is your present just at the left side of the section. Left side of this is the section. This is the section C. This is the section. So this is the left side of the section. This is right side of the section. So here all the train of concentrated load is present toward the left of the section. So here you see that the train of concentrated load is moving across a beam. So when W1 enters at A, so here what will happen when W1 enters the span? Negative shear force developed at C. it increases as the load moves on. When the W1 load move forward, so here the negative shear force is also increases here. The negative shear force increases. When W1 enters the span, negative shear force develops, but see, it increases as the load moves on. When W2 enters the span, the rate of increase in shear force goes up. The rate of increase in shear force increases. This is continued till the load W1 reaches the section C. The increase in shear force is continue till the load W1 reaches the section C. Till the load W1 reaches the section C, the negative shear force increases at the section C. So this is continued till that load W1 reaches the section C. When W1 crosses the section, start to develop positive shear. Then when W1 crosses the section, when the load W1 crosses the section, so here start to develop the positive shear force. When the load just touches the section C, so here you will get the maximum negative shear force, and when it crosses the section C, so here the positive shear force will be developed in the right side of the section. When W1 crosses the section C, start to develop positive shear, just reducing the negative shear. Hence, there is a drop in shear force value. Further movement causes more increase in shear force till the second load reaches C. There is a second peak value and a sudden drop when the second load crosses. Similarly, the first load crosses the section C, then second load crosses the section C. So you will get another peak of the load. Then the third load crosses the section C. You will get another peak of load. So further movement causes more increase in shear force till the second load reaches C. There is a second peak value and a sudden drop when the second load crosses. Therefore, the shear force will have peak value whenever a load is on the section. Highest value among these peak values is to be selected. By 2 or 3 trial values, it is possible to get maximum negative shear force value. So here you see for negative shear force, so first W1 touches the C section, then it crosses the section C. Then W2 touches the section C, then crosses the section C. So here you will get the peak value of the shear force, and you have to find out the peak value, the shear force of the 2 and 3 trial. Then from this you will get the maximum negative shear force. Mostly the maximum negative shear force you will get when the load W1 is at the section C. When it touches the section C, so in this situation you will get the maximum negative shear force. So for negative shear force, most of the loads are to the left of the section. And similarly, for maximum positive shear force, you will get when most of the loads are on the right of the section. So in this situation, you will get the maximum positive shear force. This is the position of load for maximum positive shear force. That is, the position of the load is just to the right side of the section C. This is the position of the load for maximum positive shear force. This is the influence line diagram for shear force at C. So in this position, you will get the maximum positive shear force. Similarly, for maximum positive shear force, the most of the loads on the right of the section. This one. Then coming to the maximum bending moment. So here this is the W1, W2, W3, W4, W4. These are the loads. Train of concentrated load is moving across a beam. And this is the influence line diagram for moment at C. This is the position of load for the maximum moment at the C. So here this is the moment at C, and the ordinate here YC. Ordinate here YC. So here you have to take, this is the maximum moment at C, Z into L minus Z by L. This is the moment at C, MC is equal to Z into L minus Z by L. Let R1 is the resultant of loads on the left of the section, and R2 is the resultant of load on the right of the section, because these are the train of concentrated load. So this is left side and this is right side. So this is the resultant for left side load, and this is the resultant for the right side load. For right side load, this is the resultant R2, and for the left side load, this is the resultant R1. And R1 is present at a distance x from the section C, and R2 is present at a distance a minus x distance from the section C, and the distance between R1 and R2 is this one. Let ordinate of ILD for moment at C is Y1 under R1. So what is the ordinate of ILD under the reaction R1? Y1. And what is the ordinate of ILD under the reaction R2? This is Y2. This is Y2. Under the reaction R2, the ordinate of ILD is Y2. And under the reaction R1, the ordinate of ILD is Y1. And the maximum ordinate is YC at C. This is the maximum ordinate YC. This is at C. Then find out the moment at C. Then what is the moment at C? MC is equal to R1 Y1 plus R2 Y2. So you have to find out the moment at C. So what is the resultant this side into this ordinate, and what is the resultant of the load into this ordinate, R1 Y1 plus R2 into Y2. MC is equal to R1 Y1 plus R2 Y2, but you know Y1 and Y2. You know this Y1, so you have to find out this Y1 and you have to find out this Y2. How you will find out this Y1? Because you have to take, this is one triangle and this is another triangle. So by taking the two similar triangle, you will find out the value of Y1. YC into Z is equal to Y1 into Z minus X, because this is Z and this is X. This is X. So this, from this to this is your Z minus X. YC by Z is equal to Y1 by Z minus X. So from this relation, we will get Y1 is equal to Z minus X by Z into YC. Similarly, this side, you have to take, this is one triangle and this is another triangle. So by taking the two similar triangle, you will find out the value Y2. YC divided by L minus Z is equal to Y2 divided by L minus Z minus A minus X. Because from this to this is your A minus X. So you have to take this one, this length. So this length is equal to L minus Z minus A minus X. So here Y2 is equal to L minus Z minus A minus X by L minus Z into YC. Then you can find out what is the moment at C. MC is equal to R1 Z minus X by Z into YC plus R2 into L minus Z minus A minus X by L minus Z into YC. This is the moment at section C. For maximum moment, for MC to be maximum, so what you have to do? So you have to take the differentiation of this moment with respect to X is equal to 0. dmc by dx is equal to 0. So this is the equation for the moment, and you have to take the differentiation of this moment with respect to X is equal to 0. Take the differentiation of this equation with respect to X, then we will get the position of the maximum moment. Then dmc by dx is equal to 0. Then after taking the differentiation, minus R1 into YC by Z plus R2 YC by L minus Z is equal to 0. Then after simplification, you will get R1 by Z is equal to R2 by L minus Z. R1 by Z, this is the total resultant. R1 by Z is equal to R2 by L minus Z. So in this situation, you will get the maximum bending moment. The average load on the left side portion of the beam is same as the average load on the right side portion of the beam. When several point loads moves across a girdle, the maximum bending moment at any section occurs when the average loading on the left side of the section is equal to the average loading on the right side of the section. Coming to the absolute maximum shear force. So here you will get the absolute maximum shear force. So you know, in influence line diagram, this is the influence line diagram for shear force, and here you will get the maximum shear force. For negative shear force, you will get at the support B, and for positive shear force, you will get at the support A. And Z is equal to L, that is at the support B, you will get the maximum negative shear force. And when Z is equal to 0, that is at support A, you will get the maximum positive shear force, absolute maximum shear force. At any section C, the influence line ordinate for negative shear force just to the left of the section is equal to Z by L. Here you see, this is to the left of the section. So this is the shear force. And to the right of the section, this is the shear force. At any section, to the left of the section, this is the shear force, and to the right of the section, this is the shear force, L minus Z by L. Influence line ordinate for positive shear just to the right of the section, C is equal to L minus Z by L. But for absolute maximum shear force, ordinate of ILD should be maximum, because this is the shear force, negative shear force at a section C, and this is the positive shear force at a section C. But you have to find out the absolute maximum shear force. So where you will get the absolute maximum shear force? Where the ordinate is maximum. For negative shear force, the ordinate of the ILD maximum, and for positive shear force, the ordinate of the ILD should be maximum. This is for negative shear force, this is the maximum ordinate of the ILD, and for the positive shear force, this is the maximum ordinate of the ILD. For negative shear force, the ILD ordinate is maximum when maximum value of 1 when Z is equal to L. Just already explained. So here, when Z is equal to L, when Z is equal to L, and here the ordinate of ILD is maximum, that is 1. This is absolute maximum negative shear force. Similarly, for positive shear force, ILD ordinate is maximum value of 1 when Z is equal to 0, that is at A. So that is at A, when Z is equal to 0, so you will get the maximum ordinate for ILD. This is maximum ordinate of ILD. So here you will get the absolute maximum positive shear force. At A, you will get the absolute maximum positive shear force. So maximum shear force occurs when one of the load is on support A. When the load starts moving from left to right, contributing of leading loads to shear force at A decreases, but more number of loads may come on the beam and they will contribute to the additional shear. However, no general conclusions can be drawn whether increases due to the additional load is more or decrease due to the reduced contribution from leading loads is more. It needs a few trials to arrive at conclusions. The absolute maximum shear force will occur when one of the loads should be on the support A. Similar to get the absolute maximum negative shear force, one of the loads should be on support B. Similar to get the absolute maximum negative shear force, one of the loads should be on support B, and few trials may be required to get absolute maximum negative shear force which occurs at support B. So you have to go for the 2-3 trials, then you will find out what is the absolute maximum negative shear force. Then coming to maximum moment under a load. So here you see, so this is the train of concentrated load. When this is moving across a beam, AB, you take the let a train of concentrated load W1, W2, W3, W4 and W5 move on a simply supported beam AB from left to right. The condition of moment to be maximum under wheel load W2 is to be determined. So you have to find out under the wheel load W2, so what is the maximum moment. So let R is the resultant of all loads. So this is R, the resultant of all loads. So what is the load is having W1, W2, W3, W4, W5, and R is the resultant of all the loads. Distance of the resultant load from the support A is X. And from the load W2, this distance is A. And from the support A, the distance is X. Distance R from A is X and distance from W2 is A. You have to find out what is the reaction at A. So what you have to do? You have to take the moment about the support B. RA into L is equal to R into L minus X, this distance. This is total length of the beam is L and this is X. So this distance is L minus X. So RA into L is equal to R into L minus X. R into L minus X. Then you find out the reaction at A, RA is equal to R into L minus X by L. Then find out the moment under load W2. Then find out what is the moment under the load W2. So how will find out this moment? Because you have to take the moment of the reaction and the moment of the resultant load about the point where the W2 load is present, and from that point you have to take the moment of RA and moment of R. So moment M is equal to RA into X plus A. This is RA, and what is the perpendicular distance? X plus A. Then due to this resultant load, what is the moment? R into A, minus R into A. So because this is rotating clockwise and this is anti-clockwise, so here this is the moment of due to the resultant load is negative, and moment due to the reaction positive. This is RA into X plus A minus RA. Then you know RA is equal to R into L minus X by L. Here you put M is equal to R into L minus X by L into X plus A minus RA. Then after simplification, you'll get this is the relation. Then you have to find out the maximum moment. So for maximum moment, what you have to do? You have to take the differentiation of this moment with respect to X is equal to 0. So what is the moment you got at the load W2 at a section W2? You have to take the differentiation of this moment with respect to X, and that equal to 0. Then you will get the relation position. So dm by dx is equal to 0. So that is your equal to R by L into L minus 2x minus A. Then x is equal to L by 2 minus A by 2. So this distance x, this one, x is equal to L by 2, half of the span minus A by 2. So x is equal to L by 2 minus A by 2. Similarly, find out distance of W2 from A. So here this is x plus A. So what is the distance? What here you got? X is equal to L by 2 minus A by 2. So L by 2 minus A by 2 plus A. So this is equal to L by 2 plus A by 2. So this is the distance of W2 from support A. So for moment to be maximum under any particular load, the load and resultant should be equidistant from the midspan. So here you will get the maximum moment under any particular load. So when the load and the resultant should be equidistant from the midspan. This one, L by 2 minus A by 2 and L by 2 plus A by 2. So for moment to be maximum under any particular load, the load and resultant should be equidistant from midspan. The absolute maximum bending moment occurs under one of the loads when the resultant of all the loads and the load under consideration are equidistant from the center of the beam. Already I have explained. And the resultant of all the loads and the load under consideration are equidistant from the center of the beam. So in this situation, you will get the absolute maximum moment. The influence line diagram ordinate for bending moment is maximum at the center of the span. Hence, bending moment will be maximum near the center of the span when heavier loads are nearer to the center, and the absolute maximum moment occur under one of the loads when the resultant of all the loads and the load under consideration are equidistant from the center of the beam. Then coming to one example, 4 point loads 8 kilonewton, 15 kilonewton, 15 kilonewton and 10 kilonewton have center to center spacing of 2 meters between consecutive loads, and they traverse a girder of 30 meter span from left to right with 10 kilonewton load leading. This is the leading load, 10 kilonewton load. Calculate the maximum bending moment and shear force at 8 meters from the left support. So here given the length of the simply supported beam is given 30 meters, and here you have to find out the maximum bending moment and maximum shear force, that is at a distance 8 meters from the support A. And these are the train of concentrated load is given. Here this is 8 kilonewton, 15 kilonewton, 15 kilonewton, 10 kilonewton, 4 load. And each load is 2 meters apart. 2 meters. So total length is your 6 meters. 2 meters, 2 meters, 2 meters. And the 10 kilonewton load is leading load. This is the leading load, means this is the front load. These are the back load. This is the leading load. Here we have to draw the ILD for shear force at the C and ILD for bending moment at C. Then we have to calculate the maximum shear force and bending moment. So first coming to the negative shear force. First we'll determine the maximum negative shear force at C. Maximum negative shear force. So this is the load position. For already we have discussed in theory part. So this is the position of load for maximum negative shear force at C. And these are the load 8 kilonewton, 15 kilonewton, 15 and 10 kilonewton, 2 meter interval. The total is your length 6 meter. To find out the maximum negative shear force at a distance 8 meter from the support A. So first you find out what is the ILD ordinate just to the left of C. You have to find out what is the ILD ordinate just to the left side of the section C. So you know this is the relation minus Z by L. This is minus 8 by 30. Z is equal to 8 meter and L is given 30 meter. So minus 8 by 30. So here this ordinate is your 8 by 30. What is the ILD ordinate just to the right of C? Because this is the relation L minus Z by L. This is L minus Z and this is L. L minus Z is equal to 22 meter and L is equal to 30. So here you take 22 by 30. So this is the ordinate for positive shear force at the C. Then you can find out what is the ordinate Y2 under the load point, this one under the second load. This is the leading load. So just back to the leading load, 15 kilonewton, then 15 kilonewton, then 8 kilonewton. So here under this 15 kilonewton, this is the ordinate Y2. And under this 15 kilonewton, this is the ordinate Y3. And under this 8 kilonewton, this is the ordinate of the ILD. To find out this ordinate Y2, Y3, Y4. By taking similar triangle, you'll find out the ordinate Y2, Y3, Y4. Here 1 by 30 is equal to Y1 by 8 is equal to Y2 by 6, Y3 by 4 is equal to Y4 by 2. The negative shear force is maximum at C when the leading load 10 kilonewton touches C. The ordinate of ILD under the point load is calculated by similar triangle. 1 by 30 is equal to Y1 by 8 is equal to Y2 by 6, Y3 by 4, Y4 by 2. Then you can find out the ordinate of the ILD under the load point Y1, Y2, Y3, Y4. This is the ordinate. Then you can find out the maximum negative shear force at C. Then what is the maximum negative shear force? Then you can find out by taking this load and the ordinate. You have to multiply the load and the corresponding ordinate. And here this is the load and this is the corresponding ordinate. This is the load, this is the corresponding ordinate. This is the load, this is the corresponding ordinate. That is 10 into Y1 plus 15 into Y2 plus 15 into Y3 plus 8 into Y4. This is the maximum negative shear force. Maximum negative shear force is equal to 10 into 8 by 30 plus 15 into 6 by 30 plus 15 into 4 by 30 plus 8 into 2 by 30 is equal to 8.2 kilonewton. And this is the maximum negative shear force at C. Then coming to the maximum positive shear force at C, the positive ordinate of ILD at C, this is 22 by 30. And this is the position of load for maximum positive shear force at C. And these are the loading 8, 15, 15, 10. And here 8 kilonewton is just at the section C. This is the leading load and this is the end load. And when the end load is at the section C. Here also you have to find out what is the ordinate Y1, Y2, Y3, Y4 by taking the similar triangle. Because you know this Y4 ordinate is your 22 by 30. Y4 ordinate is 22 by 30. And here you find out Y3, Y2 and Y1 by taking the similar triangle. The positive shear force is maximum at C when the tail of the load should be at C. The ordinate on the load point calculated by similar triangle. 1 by 30 is equal to Y1 by 16 is equal to Y2 by 18 is equal to Y3 by 20 is equal to Y4 by 22 is equal to Y4 by 22. Then from this relation we will find out Y1 is equal to 16 by 30, Y2 is equal to 18 by 30, Y3 is equal to 20 by 30 and Y4 is 22 by 30. then you can find out what is the maximum positive shear force. The load you have to multiply with the corresponding ordinate. 10 into y1 plus 15 into y2 plus 15 into y3 plus 8 into y4. This is the maximum positive shear force. FC is equal to 10 into 16 by 30 plus 15 into 18 by 30 plus 15 into 20 by 30 plus 8 into 22 by 30 is equal to 30.2 kilonewton. This is the maximum positive shear force. Then coming to the moment, the maximum moment at the sea. Then find out the maximum moment at the sea. So you know what is the ordinate, the maximum moment ordinate at the sea. So this you can find out using this relation. So the ILD for moment at sea as shown in figure, this is the influence line diagram for the maximum moment at sea, and this is the ordinate at the sea point, and that ordinate, that YC you can find out Z into L minus Z by L, and this is 5.867, and this is the load position. This is the position of the load. This is position of load for maximum moment at sea. Then you have to find out here you see when this is the train of concentrated load. So when the load 10 kilonewton is crosses the point C, you have to find out the moment, and for 15 kilonewton crosses. So then by 2 and 3 trial you can find out what is the maximum moment at C. So just coming to this tabular calculation, to find load position for maximum moment C. So here you take the load crossing, then average load on AC portion. This is AC portion, and this is BC portion, because this is the section, and this is the left of the section, and this is right of the section. So in left of the section, how many load present, and right of the section, how many loads are present. So just you have to take here. So average load, what is the average load on the AC portion, and what is the average load of the BC portion. You have to take 2 column, and the load crossing 1 column, and here you take the remarks. So first you take 10 kilonewton load. When 10 kilonewton load is crossing here, because this is the leading load, when the leading load crossing the section C, when the 10 kilonewton load is crossing section C. So in this case, because 10 kilonewton is on the right side, and the other 3 loads are on the left side. This 3 load is left side, and this 1 load is only on the right side. So in this situation, find out what is the average load on right side and what is the average load on the left side of the section. So when 10 kilonewton load is crossing, so average load this side is, because this is present, and this is present. 15 plus 15 plus 8, 38 divided by 8. And for this on the length AC, so the total load is present 15 plus 15 plus 8. That is 38 by 8. And what is the total load? What is the total average load present on right side of the section BC? So here only this load is present, 10 divided by 22. 10 divided by 22. So here you see, so which side is your maximum? The average load W1 AB and average load BC portion W2 AB. So average load for AC portion you take W1 AB, and average load for BC portion you take W2 AB. So here you see this is your greater than this one. So W1 AB greater than W2 AB. Then take the, when 15 kilonewton load is crossing at the section. This is already crossed the section. Then the second load 15 kilonewton is crossing at the section C. So these 2 load is on the right side, and these 2 load is on the left side. Then you find out what is the average load on the left side and what is the average load on right side. What is the average load on the left side? 15 plus 8. So this is equal to 23 by 8. Then what is the average load on the right side? 15 plus 10. This is 25 by 22. So here also you see, so the average load on left side is greater than the average load on the right side. W1 AB greater than W2 AB. Then take when the third load is crossing. when third load is crossing. So first load is already crossed the section, second load is already crossed, then when third load is crossing, this load is crossing. This load is crossing the section C. This load is crossing. So how many load present on left side and how many load present on the right side? So right side you take these 3 load and left side only this load is you have to take. So 8 by 8. So left side 8 by 8. And what is the total average load on the right side? 15 plus 15 plus 10. 30 plus 40. 40 by 22. So here you see when the third load crossing, so here you'll get the average load on the right side is greater than the left side. W1AB less than W2AB. So W2AB greater than W1AB. So you will get the maximum bending moment when this is your crossing. So you will get within this, but you have to take the maximum bending moment when the third load is crossing the section C. Because here W1AB greater than W2AB, but when the third load is crossing, so here W1AB less than W2AB. So in this situation, you will get the maximum bending moment at the section C. This is third load. When third load is present at the section C, so you get the maximum bending moment. So you have to find out this ordinate Y1 under this load. Under the load 8 kilonewton, this is the ordinate. And under this 15 kilonewton, this is the ordinate. Under the load 10 kilonewton, this is the ordinate. These are the ordinates of the influence line diagram. Then you can find out what is the maximum moment. The maximum moment at C is equal to MC is equal to 8Y1 plus 15YC plus 15Y2 plus 10Y3. But you know the Y1, YC, Y2 and Y3 ordinate. Y1 is equal to 6 by 8 YC, Y2 is equal to 20 by 22 YC, then Y3 is equal to 18 by 22 YC. Then the maximum moment at C is equal to this one, 251.21 kilonewton meter. This is the moment at the section C. Now all are clear. When the train of concentrated load moving across a beam, then how you have to find out the maximum shear force and maximum bending moment at a specified section.